Welcome back. I hope you've been with us, and if you've just joined us, you've missed a couple of people, very interesting people. In fact, who we've had so far, we've had Nana Tenachi Yankee, who is the designer behind Coco Lily, and like we said, she is going to be here in October for the Ghana Fashion Week, so look out for her. And also, the technology buffs out there, Raindolph Owusu, who has created his own web browser, Anansi, and you can get on there and browse the web just like you do in Explorer, just like you do in Google Chrome. Amazing, fantastic, a web browser for Ghanaians by Ghanaians. It's not just for Ghanaians, actually, for anyone. So download that one as soon as you can. Now, up next, what's going on, Stera?
Well, honestly, Krista, I was just looking back at when I was little. And when I was little, every Sunday morning, I would be so excited because it was time for
Captain Planet.
He's the hero.
He's gonna take pollution down to zero.
Oh
something like that.
Something like that. And you know, I always wish that I had like one of those powers that I could like save the earth.
It's
from
wind, water, fire, earth.
Earth. That's it? Are we missing one?
Oh, there's gotta be something.
Anyway. But, so, here we are. We met with Timothy Kakari, who is actually having and owning and leading the Captain Planet Planeteers right here in Accra, Ghana. And this guy, he's such an inspiration. He's been at it and he's like worked hard, and they've been doing so many things in the environment. Last season when we had our circle cleanup, they also came. They helped us out so well. So let's just have a look at what it's like to be a planeteer.
Wind, water, heart, go planet!
If Kwame from Captain Planet was a real-life character, maybe he would be embodied by Timothy Kakari, president of the Planeteer movement in Ghana.
The Planeteer movement, briefly, it's a group of young individuals, young professionals and students who have come together to use our extra time to save the environment, to help mankind, and to save society. Because when you go about every time today, the serious issues of Ghana today are environmental problems. Why should it rain and people have their homes flooded? Why should it rain and people will be homeless? Why should it rain and lives and property will be lost? It is just because of our own individual attitude. It's just because of our careless attitude towards the environment. So we are just getting all these things back as a payback for what we've caused to the environment. Now, how do we save the environment? It's in different strategies. We have the advocacy strategy, we have the education strategy, and we have the implementation strategy. These three focus areas is what we use. The advocacy strategy, we go out and then advocate, demonstrate against practices of human beings and government that are not fit for the environment. The education, we educate people about the mass education, and the implementation, we ensure that whatever we say comes into being. We are a chapter of the Planeteer movement worldwide.
The Planeteer movement dates back to 1989 when CNN founder Ted Turner and world-renowned documentary filmmaker Barbara Pyle together conceived the animated series Captain Planet. The cartoon was meant to raise a generation's global awareness and environmental literacy. And in 2010, the Ghanaian Planeteer movement was launched to paint the same awareness in Ghana. In Ghana, Timothy has been taking his Planeteer through advocacy, presenting a petition to Parliament on the reduction of fumes. Timothy and his Planeteers actively organize monthly cleanups around the city and now to get young ones involved. He is in the process of establishing student clubs in basic and secondary schools around the country, but it has not been easy for Timothy.
One main challenge is bureaucracy in this country. Can you imagine, Krista, if even you want to clean, you want to dedicate your Saturday and go and clean somewhere, you need to get approvals. You need to get authorities to approve that, yes, you can clean this area. What is this? So these are some of the setbacks we get whenever we want to do these projects. The hierarchy in Ghana. You need to go to this ministry, you need to go to this office, this director to just get a letter to approve you to go and clean. So approval process is very slow in Ghana. That is one of our issues. The second challenge we have is that it's a voluntary organization. Most of us are working. Those who are not working are students. So time is not on our side, and it's very difficult to dedicate time. As you said earlier, I'm working, I'm schooling, and I'm doing this. So the other challenges are time. It's very time constrained. It's difficult to put ourselves together and do it because no one is getting paid for it. So it's even difficult to reprimand somebody when somebody does not do what he or she is supposed to do to make the movement going on. That is also one major challenge. Another challenge is possibly funding. Luckily for us, we've got Global Media Alliance supporting us in most of our activities, so we get some few funds in kind and a few cash to support our initiatives and projects. Other than that, most funding is on us. So our little salaries, that is what come together, save it, donate, and we do this project.
Timothy has not made his challenges as Planeteer a downside. And that is not the only thing that occupies this young go-getter. He's currently an HR assistant at Global Media Alliance, a Ghanaian multimedia company, and a student as well.
I know I'm an HR executive for Global Media Alliance, working hours 8 to 5. Aside other issues that may come up, I try my possible best to meet the time, at most 6. Then I dedicate, after 6 I have to go to classes because I'm doing my professional course in HR at the Institute of Human Resource Practitioners, Ghana. I need to dedicate time to that. So what I do mostly is my weekends. That is when I used to strategize and plan for the Planeteer movement.
Timothy Kakari believes in Ghana. Perhaps this is the reason why this young Planeteer has never been anywhere outside the country's 4 borders, something that hasn't limited him. He's as knowledgeable as any world traveler. I noticed that you're very patriotic because when we were growing up and stuff, a lot of times we hear that there are greener pastures out there. So when you get all these skills, you want to take it out, but you stayed. So what was your upbringing like, and how do you think that prepared you for your professional career?
I came from a family of 5, my dad, my mom, and my 2 siblings, both girls. I attended Achimota Primary School and then went to St. John's Grammar School and continued to the University of Ghana, Commonwealth specifically. I noticed that in Commonwealth there was a lot of leadership development opportunities for us. When I was in Commonwealth, that is when I actually identified the leader in me. That's where I started taking up leadership positions in Commonwealth. My family, my dad was not so strict, but he would guide you to do what he thinks is right. He wanted me to be a doctor, like our parents. In primary, in junior high school, he in a way forced me to choose science in secondary school. So I did science in my SHS, But when I passed and I had to go to the University of Ghana to read biological science, I noticed that wasn't what I wanted, but my dad was still insisting. So then I said, hey, you know what, I'm not going to do science, and if it's science that you want me to do, I'm going to stop schooling. So he left me to do what I wanted to do. Then I chose arts and decided to read psychology. So it was through that I was able to identify my leadership qualities. Because trust me, if I read biological science in the University of Ghana, I wouldn't have had the time and have the resources available to be able to harness the leadership qualities in me.
So where is the future for you in the next, let's say, 5 years? What is Timothy Kakari going to be doing?
In the next 5 years, I hope to still continue with my HR practice, but now not on working basis, but on a consultancy basis, so that I can have some time and dedicate that time to bringing up and developing the Planeteer movement in Ghana, because the Planeteer movement is really a big thing. It's a really big thing that if we dedicate time and commitment to develop it, we can develop it. So in the next 5 years, still going to do my HR bit, but in a more consultancy kind of thing. Then have more time spent on the Planeteer movement. In the next 5 years also, I see the Planeteer movement to be a force to reckon it with when it comes to environmental issues in Ghana. Governments and politicians and stakeholders should call on the Planeteer movement for advice and for counsel during environmental crisis and other things. We want to get to that level. So it's not easy, but I think we can get there, because in the few 2 years that we've been into play, we've been, even though we haven't won any award, we've had the opportunity to have been nominated in awards of higher reputation in the world, which I think one is just 7 June. We were nominated in the African Business Awards in London, UK. Even though we didn't win it, we think that being in existence for 2 years and being compared to world heavyweight like Netbank and other companies, it's a great achievement. I, as the president, have also got the opportunity to have been one of the finalists in the recent UN Date with History contest, where because of my involvement in the Planeteer movement, I was able to qualify and make it to the final stage, where I was chosen in Africa to compete with other people in the world, and the results came out and I was part of the finalists. So I think these are great achievements. Even in 2 years and in the next 5 years, we can do bigger.
Why is it so important for you, for the world or for Ghana to be as clean as it should?
Crystal, everywhere and in every society, you need people who will be ready to dedicate and sacrifice whatever they are doing to help mankind. I sometimes do not understand myself, but I'm one person that I cannot stand injustice. I cannot stand wrongdoings in the society. I cannot stand what is wrong. I cannot just look on and then let it just go. That is me. That is how I was created. I can't even understand myself, but I just want the society to be out of rid of these environmental issues. I just want everybody to be okay, because you know what? A non-healthy environment is equal to ill health. And if we are not healthy, how can we work? How can we produce? How can we be effective and then get money to take care of ourselves? I also believe that out of this movement, we can create leaders. We can develop leaders. Out of this movement, we can get the youth together.
You have heard it from Timothy Kakari, who is an HR assistant and the president of the Planeteers movement. He's talked a lot. From what I gathered, he is a philanthropist and he is working hard at changing the world so that you and I can, I guess, continue making money. Well, let's take it back to the studio. He's just an all-rounded person, very hardworking down from university. He won all these awards. He was one of the first. He is, in fact, the one that initiated an electronic voting system at his university.
That was very interesting, actually.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that?
I guess it's someone that's just all-rounded. Your mind is always thinking. Even when you're talking to Timothy, sometimes he is thinking. He's always thinking
somewhere else.
Yeah,
like he's doing 10,000 things.
And what really stand out to Sarah, imagine this guy has never traveled, not even to Togo.
Yeah.
He's never left the country before.
The borders of Ghana.
So it's not about just leaving the country to be exposed. He learns from right here, just like it's a global village, like he said. You can learn anything online, you can read up, you can
learn anything anywhere if you really want to.
You just have to be hardworking, and that's what he's doing, and he's doing well. So go Planeteer.
Yes.
So Timothy, like, why is it so important for me? That was the biggest thing to find out from him too. Why it meant so much for him to keep his environment clean. Like, why? Like, that's his career path.
What's something that we always forget is that there are future generations after us, and what do we want to leave our children? And I think that's also a very important part of, we need to keep our environments clean. And like he said, education is sometimes lacking, so it's been difficult. And people, you do what your parents do. When you see your parents throwing litter, you will do the same. So it's something we all need to work on together.
Guys, it's just as simple. Do you actually know malaria is one of the leading causes of deaths in Ghana? Now, if your environment is dirty, you have puddles of water constantly, that's mosquitoes right there. That's you dying. That's no development, because nobody is going to work when they're sick. I mean, it just keeps, linking to the next and the next and the next, and it's important. So Timothy is leading that.
Every little thing you pick up and throw out is a change, is a difference. And that's what we did as well. And we keep doing, obviously.
We'll be back in a jiffy.